How's it going, everyone? It's Holly from Winter SpongeBob. That was day is May 4th, 2021, and today we're going to focus on the major severe weather threat that's going to impact the entire Southeast later today. And we're going to talk about the next potential severe weather threat that could impact more of the Southeast states later next week. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather content. So to begin, let's first take a look at the GFS model as of right now, and is around a good representation of where we're at when it comes to the current radar. We're seeing the heavier rain bands right around Arkansas, Oklahoma, and extending Missouri, and we're seeing a decent amount of rain showers throughout the Northeast, and this extends to the Great Lakes. If we take a look at the current radar, you see that the GFS is pretty accurate when it comes to detecting this rain band throughout Michigan and these rain showers throughout the Northeast, as well as right around Arkansas, Missouri, and Kentucky. However, by the time you're watching this video, the rate probably most of the rain will be well far to the east because I'm recording this right around 5 a.m. and this video will probably go live right around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So as a result, expect the radar to be much different from what you're seeing right now. And we're going to take a look at the radar at what it would be like at around 1 p.m. later today. So taking a look at that, you see this should be where you guys will be at when it comes to the radar, and there's going to be a lot of rain right around the Northeast, and there's going to be a decent amount of thunderstorms already forming throughout the Southeast. But let's take a look first at the GFS model to see what it's forecasting. You see that the GFS model does eventually bring the rain showers out into the open Atlantic, getting away from the Northeast coast, which means that it should be dry for a little bit for the Northeast coast. However, I do expect the rain to eventually rebound as this mid-level shortwave trough eventually moves further and further eastward, and it'll bring some rain back into the Northeast. However, you see that the rain continues throughout Missouri, Arkansas, and Tennessee. A lot of the same areas that got impacted by the last severe weather event, which brought a lot of rain. So to see rain on top of that is definitely not something you want to see, especially heavy rain, because some of these rain showers, some of the precipitation here is associated with clusters of thunderstorms, and you certainly do not want to see rapid or very high rainfall rates because that could easily induce the chance of flash flooding even if you don't live by a major river. So taking a look even forward more and more into the GFS model, you see that the GFS model is now leaning on bringing a much larger area of thunderstorms throughout the Southeast, which extends to Mississippi, Alabama, just states that got pounded last March by extremely severe weather, by extreme severe weather outbreaks, and see more thunderstorms is definitely not something you want to see, and it's as a direct result of how much moisture there is in this air mass right around the Southeast, as well as how much instability there is. There's around moderate the National Weather Service is detecting right around moderate instability in the Southeast, along with very high moisture content or just a lot of water vapor within that air mass. So as a result, it's going to induce just very potent thunderstorm activity, and just very strong convection right around this air mass, and that's going to induce just very strong thunderstorms and will induce a chance of damaging winds, hail, and possibly isolated tornadoes at that. And then moving forward, you see that eventually thunderstorms will weaken because, for one thing, is that obviously the nighttime will come, the evening time will come, and as a result, since the sun goes down, there's going to be less energy from the sun in the form of shortwave radiation hitting the earth. So as a result, the earth will cool down and the atmosphere will begin to stabilize. So there's going to be less of a chance of a lot of lift occurring at nighttime in the atmosphere to induce severe thunderstorms. So that's one reason why the severe weather thunderstorm threat will diminish right around the evening time. And another thing is that the dip won't be as pronounced, I'd say, later during I'd say further and further to the east, and I think it's primarily as a result of the warmer east coast that's going to force this dip to sort of move further and further up northward, as the warmer temperatures of the ocean are gonna really steer the jet stream further, really steer this dip in the jet stream further northward, which would induce less unstable air in this air mass, and as a result, less severe thunderstorm activity. And there's a pretty big ridge in this area, and I think that's going to force that initial jet stream dip to eventually stabilize and sort of straighten out to a point where that dip won't be as pronounced. So severe weather should diminish. I'd say right around Wednesday, right around Tuesday night and into early Wednesday, where you see the thunderstorm activity quickly diminishes right around southeast, and the jet stream dip is primarily only located in the northern states of the United States, and there isn't enough warm air or as much moisture content in the atmosphere to create as severe thunderstorms as severe as, let's say, what you've seen in the southeast. So as a result, severe weather will be limited in the northern states to only a slight risk, which is definitely good news if you don't want to see that severe weather threat impact states further up northward. However, as the summer season comes, once the air becomes warm enough for a lot of the northeast and the northern states, to the point where it could hold a lot more water vapor, and as a result release a lot more latent heat in the atmosphere and induce just strong lift. That's when I do expect thunderstorms to begin. That's when I do expect northern states to experience more thunderstorm activity overall than what they're experiencing right now throughout the spring months, which is typical since most of the northern states typically receive their severe weather season right around the summertime when temperatures are just warm enough to help thunderstorm activity occur. But moving forward, you see that low pressure eventually moves further up northward as the jet stream dip isn't as no anywhere near as pronounced as before, and the low pressure is pretty much out into the open Atlantic, impacting eastern Canada, and it will be no more. Taking a look at the futurecast radar to get a better idea of where those thunderstorm clusters will form. You see that the futurecast radar does expect a line of thunderstorms to form right around Tuesday afternoon at around the 3 p.m. time frame. So throughout Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, you need to pay close attention to this because I'd say right around mid afternoon hours, that's when it should be the worst for you guys, especially right around just to the just to the west of Birmingham, Alabama, where you could experience some severe thunderstorms, where I think damaging winds will be the primary concern, as well as some hail and tornadoes. While there is a slight risk of tornadoes from this severe weather outbreak because the wind shear isn't going to be necessarily extremely strong. If we were to take a look at that right now, taking a look at the mid levels and the higher levels of the atmosphere, you see that the wind shear isn't, I'd say, very strong, or at least strong enough to support just a major tornado outbreak. Because during a major tornado outbreak, you typically see a huge difference in terms of wind direction between the winds you're experiencing in the surface and the winds you're experiencing in the upper levels of the atmosphere, right around the 200 millibar to 100 millibar heights in the atmosphere. But you see that while the wind direction does change, especially in the mid levels of the atmosphere, from a westerly direction to more of a northeasterly direction, there's still that well, not northeasterly, I mean southeasterly, I'm going to say, excuse me. So while there is a slight shift in the wind direction, it isn't enough to really induce just very strong severe weather threat with this. There isn't a steep change in terms of wind speed between the higher levels of the atmosphere, because typically during a major tornado threat, we'd see the winds drastically and quickly increase as you go higher and higher into the atmosphere. However, in this case, while obviously, of course, winds do increase. They aren't to the magnitude where a major tornado threat should be a major concern from the severe weather outbreak, which is certainly good news because we do not want to see tornadoes potentially put a lot of people's lives at risk in the southeast. So that's definitely good. That's definitely good news to come out of this. But damaging winds and hail could still cause damage to your home, could still be potentially life threatening at times if you don't take the right precautions, such as staying away from areas that are extremely windy and areas that could, and staying away from debris overall. So certainly just keep in mind that throughout the southeast, especially if you have any outdoor plans, you might want to make second thoughts in making those because the damaging winds and the hail will be the issue associated with these thunderstorms, and the European model agrees with the GFS model at that. Taking a look at the European model's severe weather forecast when taking a look at the Futurecast radar, you see that the European model is also agreeing that there's going to be a line of thunderstorms forming right around Tuesday afternoon, and that will be when the worst of severe weather will occur, not only for the southeast but for the entire lifespan of the low pressure system in general, at least when it's in the United States. Because after I'd say today, then severe weather threat will quickly diminish, mainly because there won't be as strong of a jet stream dip where the jet stream will begin to where the atmosphere will begin to stabilize in the southeast, where there isn't going to be any major dips to really induce just strong instability. So today will primarily be um, the main severe weather threat, I should say, for a lot of southeast. In terms of what the Storm Prediction Center is forecasting, you see it's forecasting an enhanced risk throughout Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Georgia, which is pretty much means that there's a major and pretty high risk of severe weather in those areas. And outside of that, it's a slight chance, but a slight chance of the storm from the Storm Prediction Center is more, I'd say, like a moderate chance, and then marginal is more of a slight chance of severe weather. So you guys, as in the slight chance, still need to keep a close eye on this because severe weather could still certainly impact your area, as there's a moderate, I'd say, a moderate chance of that occurring. And then outside of that, it should be marginal, mainly because in the north there isn't going to be enough warm air to induce just a lot of lift in the atmosphere to create those severe thunderstorms. However, there is still that possibility, so we don't want to disregard it completely just yet. But in terms of another concern with these thunderstorms is also the rainfall, because if we take a look at the radar, only between the next 24 hours, you see that the forecast is currently leaning towards maybe close to 3 inches of rain in the southeast, which includes Alabama and Mississippi, and that's certainly a concern, especially since these. I bet some of these rain showers will be heavy at times because they're going to be associated with thunderstorm clusters. So that's certainly a concern. You guys need to pay close attention to the southeast, because one of the leading causes of death in the United States is from flooding, and you do not want to underestimate it. Even if the severe weather threat isn't going to be as severe as previous severe weather threats you experienced in the southeast, so keep in mind of that for you guys. And in terms of things outside of this trough that's going to bring severe weather to the southeast and some rain into the northeast, we also need to pay close attention to the next trough, which could maybe induce a new area of severe weather. Because taking a look after this trough moves by, you see that it's going to be mainly quiet for the United States. However, what's interesting is that this low pressure is going to associate with another low pressure system in Canada that's bringing strong northwesterly winds to the United States. And I know in my last video I did state that there might have been a possibility of nor'easter. However, that chance seems to be diminishing at this point, because now the GFS model is leaning towards the jet stream dip not being as pronounced to really capture the low pressure system and bring it closer to the coast and rapidly intensify it, as it seems like the jet stream dip isn't going to be not only as pronounced further to the south, but as fast or come as fast when coming to the northeast. So as a result, the low pressure won't really develop into its max potential until it's well out to sea. So that's certainly good news. But the next low pressure system I'm talking about is this one that's expected to come off the Northwest Pacific, where we do see snow in the higher elevations, and that certainly raises red flags for me, because when we're seeing even in the higher elevations snow in the month of, let's say, May, then that really shows you that there's going to be a lot of cold air behind this storm that could set the stage for some severe weather. And as you can see, the low pressure does eventually move to the Midwest, and we see that rain showers throughout the Midwest, and we see another area of thunderstorms right around the 5 to 6 day mark. So we certainly need to keep a close eye on this in terms of what the European model is forecasting. It's also predicting a severe weather threat to come out of this next low pressure system, where we do see quite a formidable shortwave trough moving through the United States and bringing some thunderstorm activity to the southeast. So we certainly need to keep a close eye on that. In terms of the CAPE levels that you should expect from these next potentially major severe weather outbreaks, taking a look and that they're going to be quite high, which is certainly going to set the stage for a lot, just very strong severe weather throughout the United States. So taking a look at that, you see as of right now, there's very strong convective available potential energy, where we do see areas receiving close to 4,000 joules, 4,500 joules per kilogram of convective available potential energy, which is more than enough for severe weather in the southeast. But even moving beyond that, you see the next potential for just very high convective available potential energy rates are right around the 6 to 7 day mark, which is coinciding with what the European wants to bring, where it's bringing severe weather right around those hours as well. So we need to wait and see. It really all depends on how much cold air is going to be associated with this low pressure system behind it, and that's going to all depend on northwesterly winds associated with it. And we need to see if this trend continues, where we do see more jet stream dips like this bring severe weather to the southeast. But for the time being, we just need to wait and see what happens with the next low pressure system. But yeah, guys, I guess that's it for this video. I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather content. Make sure to like if you like this video. Make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather content. And I hope you guys have a good day.